Okay, all right, man. Now we're live. There we go.
There we go.
Now it's being streamed to YouTube, and there's going to be 9 million people watching now.
I love it. Let's do it.
Gary, thank you for being here with me, man. And I've got people here that are supportive of you. Some people might not really know who you are, but they know who you are through me. You've got some people mixed in the beauty industry, fashion, technology. Tonight's nice mix of people here that are supportive of you. Some people might not really know who you are, but they know who you are through me.
No worries. I see the delay.
Echo, there we go. All right, and I know we have limited time today, but there's a lot of stuff we want to talk to you about, kind of to bring you up to date, you know, where I'm at, how you've really helped me, and for people that are watching right now who don't know kind of our story, 7 years ago, man, is when I started The Salon Guy, and it was based off of reading your book, Crush It, and watching your video on YouTube, and from that long ago, up until this point, man, like you've been a huge driving force to getting me where I'm at, man. And I have to just thank you from the bottom of my heart just for being there for me, man. When you're
thank you.
So one thing I want to start to talk to you about and ask you is there's been a huge issue when it comes to selling like social media services. And like say for example, if I go to company X and I say, hey, you know, I can do your social media for you and I can do video content for you and I can get you lots of views, and it's going to cost you say $5,000. But then they say to me, okay, well, what's the return on that? Everybody wants to see a return on social media. And it's like, sometimes it's really almost impossible to give them that information. So what's your take on the return on social media?
Well, like, look, I think people want a return on everything, right, Steve? Like people want to know the return on television. They want to know the return on direct mail. They want to know the return on the yellow pages. I don't think social media or digital media should be exempt from that. What I think you need to have a question with them about, Steve, is do you want to be in sales or do you want to be in marketing? Let me explain. When I want to be in sales, besides Facebook ads, I don't think of social as the place where is the only place to do sales, right? You can do it through direct mail. You can do it through a lot of different things. When I think about marketing and branding, it's the greatest place in the world to do it because television's very expensive. We're not all getting our own television shows. And you have these platforms that are free besides time. So when you talk to small businesses, the problem is a lot of them don't have a lot of money. And if they're a laundry service or a maid or, you know, a plumbing business, they're scared to spend that money without knowing that it's going to get them customers. If they build a brand, Joe the Plumber, Ricky's Salon, Sally's Wine Shop, they're going to get the return on that investment in a year or two. I didn't make any money on Wine Library TV in the first 2 years. I was building a brand, but by year 3, any wine that I would tell anybody about would sell like crazy. So I think you have to reframe the conversation to have a sales and marketing conversation. There are a lot of small businesses in the world that would pay $2,000 to $4,000 a year if you told them it would take them 2 years to get their $100,000 back. Not a lot, and you're gonna have to hit on a lot of doors to get there, but here's the punchline. You would then find the clients that you're actually looking for, not the guy who wants to know if you send one tweet, is he gonna sell 6, you know, cantaloupes in his fucking fruit stand?
Yeah, that makes
so the punchline here is there's a lot of people that are confused between the difference between sales and marketing. If you want sales and social media, there's only one way to do it. You have to buy Facebook ads and you have to come up with great Facebook content to drive that sale. I've done 2 different campaigns for Wine Library over the last week. One was a Labor Day wine sale. The other was pictures of me holding up bottles of wine. I ran them against fans of me. I ran them against wine fans, and ready for this? The Labor Day sale outsold me. It's humbling, I'm pissed. I didn't think it would happen, but it did. And by quite a bit. And so the funny thing is I ran the same concept and strategy around the ads, but I sold a lot more with the Labor Day thing. So, you know, even once you get into understanding the framework of marketing and sales, right? Even when you get into the framework of marketing and sales, hold on, I just wanna make sure. There we go.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yep, but I want to know why I just came off. Hold on a second. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I hit a button, I think. there we go. Even if you figure out the difference between marketing and sales, you have to understand that even within sales, there's a variable predicated on the creative, right? Like, even if you're perfect and you reached every person that wants to go to a salon, buy a Hawaiian t-shirt, buy sneakers, buy candy, even if you got in front of all of them, if what you say isn't done well, right? You've lost. You've lost. Yeah. And so, Steve, that's the part. So how do I answer your question for real? I answer your question for real by answering it in detail with the smarts and the experience and the execution quality that has allowed me to be me versus everybody running around saying social media is good. You know, I just gave you a very detailed answer, a strategic answer, one that I could expand on for the next 2 hours in detail, but I'm not going to given the context of this conversation. But I think it's a framework for those awesome dudes behind you and everybody who's watching of why I got here. Because this is far more complicated than it's good or I don't know. I know everything, at least in the context of this very narrow niche. It's just most people don't want to think, most people, and you know this, Steve, it's hard if a dry cleaner says to you, I want to give you $4,000 a month for social media, to say to them, cool, the best thing for you to do is not expect any return for 2 years. They think you're scamming them. The problem is it's true. And the bigger problem is when you tell them you're going to get them results the next month, it's not true, so you're scamming them. So you're better off making them think you're scamming them and then proving out to be true versus knowing that you're scamming them and then them not knowing it and finding it out to be true. And this is the story of my life. I've been more patient and have been more skilled, and that's why I have my results. Nobody knew me when nobody knew me, but I was doing all the right things to make people know me.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Wow, thank you for that answer. It was incredible. I want to jump on the emotional train now.
Okay.
A lot of times successful people will say, even myself, my mother passed away. That was a huge driving force for me, as you know,
yes,
to push forward. And a lot of other successful people, I'm talking big names, have gone through a major tragedy in their life. They've had some low, and they've always come up from that low. And you know, I know you've been, pretty fortunate. You've worked very hard.
Yes.
But tell me about, say, what's that driving force? What's that low that kind of brought you down and you've risen back up from it, so that people that are feeling down or they feel like they're stuck and they can't get somewhere, to kind of say, hey, you can do it?
I got real lucky. My low was being born, meaning I was born in the Soviet Union, a shit place with the worst place on earth to be born in 1975, or minimally one of the worst places, and definitely the worst place at scale to be born in the world was where I was born, right? We didn't have shit. And so I immigrated to the US, we had nothing, I was poor, I didn't speak English. I went outside in Dover, New Jersey, I never talk about this, I was picked on heavily. Kids forced me to drink pee out of a Pepsi can. I was 4'11", my freshman year of high school, not good. I was short. I couldn't, my infrastructure, me, like my life. 3 of my 4 grandparents died before I was born, right? So I didn't have that. My dad worked every minute. I never saw him because we had to make it in America. So no dad in the equation. Had the best mom of all time. So that equally is why I'm here. Have the greatest mom of all time. So, and so I have a chip on my shoulder. I'm an underdog. I wasn't born in this awesome country. Everybody here had a quicker head start than I did. You know what I mean? And so being an immigrant and being small, like I genuinely believe when I think about it, being an immigrant went away eventually, right? By 3rd grade, I was an American. It was, for boys, being under 5 foot going into high school, that's some good adversity, and then manufacturing it, right? I love underdogs. When the Yankees and the Rangers won championships, I stopped being a fan. I'm actually anti-bandwagon. Like I don't want to, when my teams win, I abandon them. Like literally. I have not watched a full Yankee or Ranger game since they won their championships. But I love the Jets and Knicks. I'm hardwired for the underdog. I hated Tiger Woods when he was America's sweetheart. He goes in the shitter, I love Tiger Woods. I hated Kobe Bryant when he was the best basketball player in the world. The last 2 years, I loved Kobe because he's finished. I loved it. Like, that's who I am. So my hard wiring, my ethos, who I am, is adversity, is underdog. I won the wine world. I won the wine business world. What did I do with that? I left it and came into an industry where I was nothing. And everybody made fun of me. I'm Twitter boy. I have a lot of Twitter followers. I'm going to start an agency. And now I'm fucking sticking it to their faces, right? And now I'm almost done. And another 5 or 7 years, I'll build the undisputed great agency of this generation. And you know how I'm going to handle that? Not by cashing in and fucking laying on a beach. I'm gonna do what I always do, which is walk directly away from it and start a new challenge where I'm the underdog. Wait, he can't do that. That has nothing to do. Don't forget what I did. I went from the wine retail business to the advertising agent that had no connection. And so, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna go win a fucking Golden Globe or something.
But the thing about you, and that's really, I followed, when I read Crush It, I followed step by step what you did. You said you have to put yourself out there every single possible way you can. And that's what I did. I was a hair guy who has been in this business for over 20 years now. And I said, you know what? This guy's putting himself out there with wine. There's no hair guys out there. And I started doing motivational videos. And I had a goal of one person. I said, if I can inspire one person, then I'm onto something. And then people were like, dude, you're a hairstylist. Why don't you cut hair? And I was like, cut hair. And that's where it all started for me. But it's been a long, and I want to tie into this now with YouTube. It's been a long process. And I feel now it's 7 years I've had a YouTube channel. I broke in 50 million views, 350,000 subscribers. I have over, I think, 1,000 videos now. I post 3 times a week. YouTube is can be a full-time job. And I've been noticing with you, that's how you started, is really through YouTube, but you've been really, really killing it on YouTube. And that's a huge part of your brand. And for me, YouTube, I mean, it's small money, you know, in your world, but YouTube actually brings in a little bit of income for me now that helps support me. And I'm looking at it as a business. So with your YouTube stuff, I mean, you're doing this every day. Are you looking at it from a business, like financial, like
branding?
Okay.
I don't even have ads. The only reason ads run on my YouTube is when they use music that needs to force the kick in that there's an ad. I'm using it as strictly a branding mechanism. But, you know, it's an amazing idea to use YouTube as a money-making platform for many people. It's just not what I want to be doing. But I love that it inspires a lot of people to go out and do that and live their world their way. I love it. I mean, you know, I would say the great mistake of my career was YouTube. Don't forget, I was on YouTube in 2006, but I left it. All those views on Wine Library TV on YouTube, those aren't my views. They were all my hundreds of thousands of views. They were on Vidler all those years ago. So I left YouTube in 2007. You know, as you know, my YouTube page before D-Rock came into my world and we decided to reboot, you know, I don't know, I had 80,000, what did I have, D-Rock? 30,000 subscribers on YouTube because I never really did it. And so I love YouTube. It's an incredibly important platform. I'm a big believer in Facebook video. I think you should take it very seriously. And so it's all good stuff.
Yeah. I started something new called TheSalonGuy On Demand. And it's a new platform. A company reached out to me that offers on-demand service.
Yeah.
I actually decided to go with it. And it was a big challenge for me. But now I'm offering, it's a subscription, $9.99 a month. It's professional hair education that people can go to. They can't find this on YouTube. There's no ads. It's literally really in-depth education in a variety of platforms. I'm calling it basically the Netflix for hair because I have all these different categories. And I've put a lot into this so far, and I just started about 2 weeks ago. And I'm not seeing the amount of subscribers joining, but I'm putting so much into this, man. And the company's saying, Stephen, don't give up, don't give up. What's your take on creating like on-demand platforms, private stuff?
I believe in it as long as you're not ripping people off and asking $10,000 to be in your mastermind and that kind of horseshit. But for like 12 bucks or $9 or 15 bucks or 30 bucks or whatever it may be, I believe in it. I think that one thing you have to understand, bro, is that you've been giving away your content to people in theory for a long time for free. And for them to make that leap is going to take time. I do think that most people that when they go from free to a premium subscription struggle, they don't convert anywhere close. They've been jabbing using long. Why didn't their right hook land? There's two things. Number one, some people just aren't good enough at content to actually get people compelled to actually pay them for it. And you know, truth is that just may be the case for you, brother. Or number two, it takes people some time to make that brand transition. You know, it's kind of like, remember how long it took you to start calling Mark Wahlberg instead of Marky Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Branding is powerful, and the way one positions you is very powerful. And so, you know, it took me a long time to think that Dwayne Johnson was actually an actor, not The Rock, right? It takes time. And so I would tell you that patience is a virtue in this situation, and you're gonna have to have some time to it. And I think you start tweaking the content you put out on YouTube and what you put on the subscription. And that doesn't mean the cliche thing of taking away the good stuff from YouTube and only putting it, that's actually the reverse. It's how do you figure out how to make them both valuable in their own right.
Yeah. How do you stay focused? How do you stay driven? There's a lot of times, you know, people want to feel like they're giving up, as you know, and I always say patience. You know, patience is really important, but what's really a key deciding factor? I pray every day, honestly. I'm very spiritual, but for the people that say, you know what, I've been trying and I just feel like giving up, and you know, what are some of your pointers to say, you know what, stick with it and I know you're big on being realistic. That's what I tell people too. You have to be realistic. But as of today, what would you tell someone to say, you know what, if you have a passion, go for it?
I tell them they're gonna die. I mean, I just don't know what to tell people. Like I'm driven by gratitude and by knowing that time will run out and that this is a moment, and I'm very thankful I even got to be a human, and just all that stuff, man. Like this is big clouds way up there kind of stuff. Like, how do you stay driven? I'm gonna ask you a question. How don't you stay driven? Well, let me get this right. You won the lotto of the universe, which is you are a human being on earth. I'm just gonna say this. I mean, I don't think people think about this. You won the lotto. You, in the universe, you're not some weird specimen in Mars that does nothing. You're not, you know, a bird. You know, you're not a sunflower. Like, you are a human being on earth. You won the ultimate lottery, and you're not driven, and you're not fired up, and you're not going for it, and you're willing to sit like a lump and just wait till you die, you suck. Like, I don't know, you suck. Like, how do I stay driven? Because I couldn't even comprehend the alternative.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude. Really awesome. Does you sleep? Yeah, do you sleep much?
Yeah, I do sleep. You know, I do sleep. I try to sleep 6 hours a day. Okay. I'm pumped. I'm thrilled if I get 7. There's plenty of 4s and there's a 2 here and there and this and that, but I think sleep's actually super important. Like, I talk about hustle, and I'm always scared that people think that I mean don't sleep. I mean don't waste time when you're awake. To me, sleep has been played out. I'm not gonna go against science. It's obvious that sleep is good. Like, you should sleep. Like, people should sleep. Now everybody needs different amounts of sleep, but no, I'm more worried about people playing, you know, Pokemon Go for 16 hours a day than I am them sleeping 4 hours versus 5 hours.
And that's making a lot of money.
By the way, let me clarify one thing. If you're happy with your life and you don't complain, play Pokemon Go 15 hours a day, right? It's too many people complain that they're not winning, and they're not auditing their actions and realizing that they're spending too much of their allocation of time on leisure and escapism. But work is the variable of success. Work.
Yeah, hard work, right? You believe in hard work. Yeah. Hard
work, smart work, fast work, work. I don't give a shit. Very honestly, at some level, I'm just trying to be realistic. How about just having a conversation of that you don't know a single person on earth that's successful that didn't put in work? Successful. Rich is different. Your mama might have made a lot of money and gave it to you. I'm talking about successful. And you don't know one. Nobody watching this right now knows a single person that became successful without the work. We have different levels of talent, all that, but work required, my friends, work required.
Wow. A couple quick things before we go, and we're limited on time. Thank you for, I have a book coming out in January. I'm hoping it's being edited right now. Thank you for sending me a nice quote, and I appreciate that. And you also said that you're going to be writing a book and you asked me to be in it. I don't know if you remember that. Watched it.
Not only do I remember, but I actually verbally agreed to the deal, and you'll be hearing from my team pretty soon. And I'm also going to start a video series called Crushed It, because it's going to be, oh, hold on one second. I'm back. Sorry, I need to run. My dad's been calling me left and right, but let me sneak this in real quick. Not only do I remember, but I'm excited for you to be a part of it. It's gonna be great.
Cool, thank you, Gary. And then real quick, I just want everyone to say hi over here. Hey, Gary. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for the time, buddy. Yeah. So
right,
Gary,
guys,
man,
take care.
Thank you, bro. Love you, man. Thanks for your time.
Yes.
Take this, man.
Talk to you. You got it.
Bye.
Stay well. Take care. Bye bye.